Hey everybody, it's Mr. Raise the Screen Roemer here, bringing you social studies. Okay, we're in Module 4, Lesson 3, and in the previous lessons in this module, we've been looking at the events leading up until the Revolution. And look at the title of this one right here, So It Begins. Okay, so battles are going to start. The American Revolution is starting. Let's take a look where we're at here. She's at the Old North Church on April 18th, 1775. Okay, and the signal told the patriots in the countryside that British soldiers were arriving by water. Okay, so this is significant right here. 1 if by land and 2 if by sea. We'll talk about that very soon. Okay, in this lesson, you're going to be learning about the major battle campaigns. Okay, campaigns are kind of a weird word. Just what are the major battles? Okay, you're going to have to describe the major battles and what happened. Okay, also compare the major battles and how were they similar and how are they different. Compare and contrast similarity and different. Okay, you're going to describe the contributions of key people and groups. Okay, so how did individuals and how did groups influence the outcome or the beginning, in this case, of the Revolutionary War. Same thing with this one down here. They just changed the word a little bit. The roles. Okay, so what was the purpose of these people? What was the purpose of their group? And then the last one is primary and secondary sources, which we'll talk about within the lesson. I'll explain it then. Okay, let's take a look here. Okay, slide 2. We're looking here at the eve of the battle. Okay, so you think about it, New Year's Eve, Christmas Eve. It's just before the battle. And we've been talking about these. Okay, first off, the French and Indian War, okay, which caused a lot of debt for England because they were fighting the French. So then they taxed the colonies and said, hey, you got to pay us for sugar, you got to pay us for all these different things. Okay, and they were trying to get money, and that made the people angry. Okay, people got so angry they started to protest, and then British soldiers shot some people. Don't know how it started. Okay, but 5 people died. Okay, and they called it the Boston Massacre. John Adams, I believe, said it was. I'm pretty sure it was John Adams said that. Okay, and then in 1773, the Tea Act, and then the Boston Tea Party. So now they started to tax the tea. So they threw the tea overboard. And now you got the coercive acts. That was basically the last thing. Okay, right there, they said, hey, you wrecked the harbor, you wrecked the tea, we're going to close your harbor. Okay, that's big because that's where all of the colonies were, that's where they're getting their imports. So imagine somebody said, hey, no more Amazon Prime deliveries. People would go crazy. Okay, so this was their shipments coming in to the colonies. Okay, so down here they've got some really nice slides that go through what happened. So, hey, the Coercive Act, they're mad. So now all the colonies come together except for Virginia in September 1774, and they have the First Continental Congress. Okay, and this is when they're going to decide, they say, you know what, we're going to not trade with Britain anymore. Forget them. If troops use force, we're going to fight back too. Okay, so it kind of progresses right here. Now they're beginning to prepare for war. Towns and the colonies are beginning to get defenses. They're gathering ammunition. People are getting ready, preparing for a fight. Okay, and then right here, some men were called, some members, because it could be women too. Okay, we're called Minutemen. Okay, guess where they got that term? They could be ready very quickly. Okay, and they'd be the first ones to defend. Okay, so the Minutemen were kind of like, I guess, the special forces. Okay, that's how I like to think about it. And now the Patriots. Okay, were not the largest group leading into the war. So this right here is some propaganda. Okay, and it shows, hey, the British, we're strong, we're big. You go up against us, you're going to get killed. You're going to get hurt. Okay, so this was used to intimidate them, kind of bully them through literature, or in this case, a poster or a flyer. Okay. And then right here, Britain was not happy with the Patriots, okay, and they control most of North America, and now they start to get kind of mad at each other, okay, so they're probably arguing here. And then it goes on to this gentleman right here, General Gage, okay, it says right here on April 18th, 1775, he orders about 700 British troops to march from Boston to Concord. And what they want to do is they want to destroy the supplies that the colonists were putting together to fight. I mean, you think about it, if they have all this ammunition, gunpowder, if they had any cannons, or I don't know if they had them, guns, different things like that, you take those away, they can't fight. Okay, so this guy's like, hey, let's go in there, take away all their supplies, and then we won't have a problem, maybe. Okay, but what happens is the Minutemen, they're ready. Okay, they're ready for him. Okay, and then some fighting breaks out. So the battles of Lexington and Concord broke out the following day on April 19th. So those are two battles we're going to have to look at right here. The battles of Lexington and Concord. That's what we need to know. What are the battles, who was involved, and what happened. Okay, and then right here, those battles, they started the Revolutionary War. All right? So guys, go ahead and read a little bit more closely. I explain them to you. We'll go on to slide 3, which is Paul Revere's Ride. Okay, so you remember that gentleman at the beginning, it said on there about the church, and I said 1 if by land and 2 if by sea. So if you've ever heard of Paul Revere, okay, he was a Minuteman, okay, so he was kind of like the special forces, and in that North Church, they had a signal, 1 lantern if the troops were coming by land, 1 if by land, 2 if by sea. So what happened was 2 lanterns got put up in the window. Paul Revere was watching. As soon as he saw those, he rode down a route and he warned everybody, they're coming by sea, they're coming by sea. Okay, the British are coming, the British are coming. And that's where the famous line, the British are coming, comes from. And 1 if by land and 2 if by sea was actually coined, I think, by a poet. Okay, so you can take a look right here and you can see some of kind of a neat map right here. You can see Paul Revere's Ride is in blue. So he started here and he rode along and he warned everybody, okay? And the British got all these different things. Revere gets captured, okay? Samuel Prescott's completion of Paul Revere's Ride. So it looks like he got captured there. But then this other gentleman, Samuel Prescott, rode on and continued the warning. Okay, the British forces are coming here. Okay, they're trying to get in. Now we've got battle at Lexington and then a battle at Concord. So they came by sea. Okay, 1 if by land, 2 if by sea. Okay, and then you have the militia, which are the troops from the colonies. Okay, they didn't have an organized army per se. It was more like farmers and people with weapons and maybe people who had fought in the French and Indian War as well. So they were experienced, but they weren't really, really organized yet. So you can see them coming in to the battles here. All right. Slide number 4 talks about perspective. Okay, so you can take a look at the shot heard around the world and what does this mean. And you can take a look at the poem and all that. And it really comes down to who started the battle. Okay. Oh, they started it, like you're fighting with your little sister or whatever. She started it. No, she started it, back and forth, or he started it. Okay. It really depends on who's telling the story, doesn't it? Okay. So if we take a look at here, we can see 2 different accounts of the battle. And here's a Minuteman's journal entry, and then you see the word, I was awakened around 1 in the morning. Okay, so this was written first person. Okay, this is also a document that shows exactly what happened from the soldier's point of view. Okay, this is called a primary source. Okay, a primary source was written or put together by someone that was actually at the site. Okay, a secondary source is going to be something like somebody told them about it, okay, and then they're telling it in a written form or in some sort of communication. So they weren't on the site, but they got information and then they're interpreting it, okay, and then they're sharing that information. So that's a secondary source. Okay, the best type of sources are primary sources because that person was actually there. But the problem is, what is their perspective and what are they trying to tell you? Okay, so you have to keep that in mind as well. Okay, so you got the Minutemen's journal entry. So this is first person, primary source. And now you have a British newspaper article, okay, and this person was not there. So this is a secondary source. The reporter gathered information and then they published it. So they did not have their eyes there. They were not there. Therefore, it's a secondary source. Okay, there is another one called a tertiary, which just means fancy name for three, tertiary source. And that would mean somebody that looked at primary and secondary sources, and they were maybe like a professor or somebody doing college work or even high school. Okay, and then they write a report about it by gathering the information from primary and secondary sources. Okay, so here's the shot heard around the world. You can look at more on that. Okay, then we're getting into the battle in the hills. Okay, so right here you can see that the Minutemen and the militia, they were ready. Okay, so go through here. Battle of Bunker Hill, which was actually won by the British. Okay, so take a look. They were ready for them right here. They were preparing. So the British were going to be coming. And when the British came here, they could see this hill right up here. And Breeders' Hill, the Continental Army set up like ditches and supports so that they could fight from there. And then they also had fortifications or like a place to battle from on Bunker Hill as well. Okay, so take a look at that. They lost the battle, but it showed everybody that they could really, really stand up to the British Army. And then they got thinking about it. Okay, they got thinking about it some more, and they got together. And what happened after Bunker Hill? Okay, after Bunker Hill, you got the Continental Army. They're saying, hey, we can beat them. Okay, and now you got George Washington. He was named the commander-in-chief. Okay, so this group right here was confident that they could go against the British. Okay, then you've got another perspective, okay, in the olive branch, and they wrote, you can see right here is a primary source. It's a letter to the king. Okay, they sent it to King George III, and they said, please, kind of forgive us maybe. Okay, let's stop the fighting and let's just go back to normal. Okay, well, that's their perspective. King George III saw it and he said, no. I'm mad. You went against us. That's it. Okay, so he sent his government permission, it says right here, to send troops to the colonies to stop the revolution. Okay, so olive branch lost out. Continental Army is going to get ready because King George said, game on, let's go, let's do this. Okay, so slide 7 is just the summary. Okay, so now you can do all of these things, especially if you go back over this lesson. Okay, and then go ahead and do the review. Okay, and in slide 8 it gives you your work that you need to do. Okay, and it says, so it begins. Okay, this right here is this. Okay, let me see if I can present that to make it a little bit bigger. Okay, so what is the name of the event? Okay, who was involved? Where did it take place? All of these things. So you're going to be picking one of the battles and then just examining these different things about it. Okay, so go ahead and do that. Okay, in the backpack, I've got it right here. So it begins Google Slides, so you can type right into this, or you can use the paper pencil worksheet that they gave you. And I also included the rubric or the score sheet which looks like this. So you can look through, guys, look through here, because this is exactly what I'm looking for. Okay. I think that's about it. Okay. Oh, there is one more thing. I did attach this. This is Liberty Kids, the shot heard around the world. So you can take a look at this cool video, and it's going to go over some of the things from our reading. And that is included right here, the link to it in the backpack. All right, so we learned a lot of things right there. Okay, lots and lots of things about the major battles. We learned a little bit about some of the key people. Okay, didn't go over that too much. Okay, the individuals and groups. Okay, the Continental Congress, the Minutemen, the militia. Okay, and then primary and secondary sources. We did pretty good there. All right, everybody. I hope you enjoy this time. Pretty interesting, and enjoy. All right, raise that screen. Take care, everybody.